The Lost Boys on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. Today we're going to be comparing all four of them. I love this movie and I hope you guys do too. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Ecto Violence channel. My name is Alec. Today we're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison. Spent the afternoon scanning these in. Took a lot of time, I just gotta say. Let's get right into this thing. Alright, so here we are. This is the side-by-side comparison that I have put together for you guys today. The top left is going to be the VHS, top right DVD, bottom left Blu-ray, bottom right 4K. Kind of easy to remember. Quick disclaimer while I'm sort of skimming through this first scene here. These are not going to look the exact same on your TV. My 4K player is different than yours. My TV is different than yours. These are scans directly from a 4K player, processed, scaled down 50%, compressed and uploaded to YouTube, so take that into consideration when you're looking at these. That being said, just look at the color differences. The framing differences alone, just looking at the VHS there, obviously because it's full screen. Now the DVD on the top right came with a full screen version as like the main version, and the widescreen is like an extra version. I'm like, okay, thanks for including that for me. So just right off the bat, like, this is a quick little comparison, but look how vibrant the colors are in the 4K. It looks way more deserty, way more yellow on the Blu-ray, which is right next to it. The DVD, color-wise, looks closer to the 4K, and I gotta say the Blu-ray is the weakest link between the DVD, 4K, and Blu-ray. As we skim through some more of this, you can see how much of the frame is cut out on these full screens. That's another thing I like doing in these comparisons. I mean, look at the color of the sky. Even the VHS looks better color-wise than the Blu-ray here. Although the Blu-ray looks much better, you know, just sharper in image. But sometimes when you do these comparison videos, or sometimes when I do, I should say, the biggest jump is from DVD to Blu-ray. In this case, the biggest jump is clearly from VHS to DVD. Now, color-wise, you can say different things, but like the quality-wise, look at that. DVD doesn't look bad. I'm a DVD defender, though it's Lost Boys, so I'm gonna own it on 4K. You know what I mean? These are some shots I wanted to include just because of the red hues here, and how much more you get out of that on the 4K. It's not just vibrant blank red. And look at the VHS, it's completely washed out. It doesn't even hardly look red, it looks pink. But you get reds and pinks mixed together with the 4K. I think it's very solid. And the color closest, again, is the DVD that looks most comparable to the 4K. I'll drop this little fact here, but in case you didn't know, I have interviewed Jason Patrick before. I uploaded it a few weeks ago. It's sort of a re-upload from a few years ago, but it's a fun interview. Check it out. This is another scene I definitely wanted to include in this comparison because look at that. The fire, just the way it illuminates. Immediately from VHS to DVD. Look how crazy that color change is. Like, look at that. Honestly, you can't tell me the DVD is not look incredible there. I feel like I'm going to rant and rave about how much I love the DVD in this video. Buckle in. Tim Capello, man, the 4K, you know, doing a comparison video like this doesn't do it justice. The Lost Boys is one of the best 4K movies I have ever seen. I highly recommend picking it up if you're a fan of the movie. I will just say that here. Whenever I do these scans of 4Ks, they always look darker and a little less vibrant. They still look more vibrant than the other ones, but they look better when actually on a 4K TV through the right equipment, you know. But I feel like there's so much more to the color in the 4K. Sure, it looks different, but like, it's not just that. It feels like there's more shades in there. In the classic comic book scene, again, look how different just the Blu-ray and the 4K is. You know, the Blu-ray is what we were watching for years until we got this 4K. And again, I just want to note just how good the DVD looks. It almost looks sharper than the Blu-ray in some of these shots. Now, they might have just turned the sharpness up a bunch for that scan. I don't know what they did, you know. Again, just look at those colors there. There's so much to this movie. It's hard to even describe everything I love about it, but while we're just looking at it, we're not listening to it or anything, we're looking at just frames of this movie. It just shocks me how beautiful it is in all of these formats, you know. If I was just watching the VHS, I would say the same thing, although looking at it directly, comparing it to the other three kind of does look like crap, but it's part of the fun of VHS, right? So the 4K is way cooler, basically, than the Blu-ray. I mean, that's an easy conclusion we can come to. And the DVD is somewhere in between, but closer to the 4K. Man, just look at that. Doesn't that DVD look great? I'm sorry, but holy shit. Maybe you guys don't even need to upgrade. If you have the DVD, you're probably solid. Although, this was, you know, played on a 4K player, so it's probably upscale a little bit, but goddamn, look at that. I don't care which one you're watching, it's a beautiful shot. My God, look at that. Beautiful shots again, very crisp and clear. Even on my monitor right now, I'm just like kind of blown away at how good each one of these looks. And that's just a testament to good filmmaking, you know? Look at that. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people saying that DVD looks the best color-wise in the comments. And you know what? I wouldn't blame you. If this is the comparison you're looking at, you're not necessarily entirely wrong, I don't think. Again, these shots are great, man. Everything in this room just fully lights up and you can see all the full details when you're watching it on your TV in 4K. I will say this is one of the scenes that the color palette looks most similar in all of the frames here, you know what I mean? What do you mean they're worms? They're only noodles, Michael. Makes me want some noodles. And the bottle comes out, right? Man, I just love this movie. It makes me just want to review and talk about the movie itself because it is just wonderful. One of my top 5 movies of all time, for sure. Now, here, look at that color difference in his coat. Looks significantly more greenish on the Blu-ray than everything else. And looking at this shot, like, you're not going to argue with me that the 4K isn't the best looking one here. Now, sure, the DVD has a little bit more of that red saturation going for it. But look at the highlights on Jason Patric's nose. And how just the color from black to all those highlights. Like, it's... Honestly, this has got to be one of the best 4K transfers I've ever seen. This is one of my favorite looks he has in this movie. Look at him. Jason Patric's a treasure. Go watch Speed 2 Cruise Control if you haven't. Look at those, pretty comparable, right? Still much more warm in the Blu-ray than everything else. Now this scene, look at these blacks. That's what I want to point out here is like the darks. God, that 4K is impressive, isn't it? I gotta say, out of these, you know, I'm the VHS guy. That's kind of what I built my channel on, as being the VHS guy. But look at this. DVD in 4K is like, it's like where it's at. Now when we're talking about the Blu-ray versus the 4K, it obviously comes into, it's really the scan and what they did with it. Like that, it really all just depends. Like, man, actually look at this shot. The DVD in the top right, like, look at this, the texture on his skin of his face around his mouth and his eyes. And compare that to all of them. Like, that's insane. Just the upgrade from VHS to DVD, it's blown out of the water. Now, here's a pan and scan. Because this is, I guess you'd call this a scan. Look at the VHS here. We're going frame by frame. It's going to scan over to Kiefer in a second here. Now, I find that fascinating. I don't know if anybody else would, but I didn't go through and look for a bunch of examples of that. I just really wanted to get beautiful scenes from this movie that would be interesting to look at and compare it to other scenes. So, now some of these gruesome shots are very fun to look at too. Very notable that the blood actually sparkles in this movie. I love that. And look at this guy. Look at that makeup. Look at everything going on in this. They all look great. Again, this is one where the DVD almost looks the best to me. The texture around his eyes, the highlights there, excellent. Again, I don't even have much to say because these are pretty comparable. Obviously, now the 4K is very cool looking. The DVD and Blu-ray are looking very similar in this shot. Look at that. That's reminiscent of a Ghostbusters too. All these shots of the blood spewing out. I love them. It's super fun. Look at that. It looks almost brown on the VHS, but... Now, these are fun. I definitely think in these scans, the DVD came out, like, looking the best. If we're talking about how good it looked on my actual TV, the 4K was where it was at. Look at this stuff. God, it's just brilliant. I love when they use, like, over-dramatic red and blues and purples and stuff like this in movies. It really works. Now, fire is always a great thing to look at in 4K because it seems like you can see so much more. Everything lights up a lot in other formats, it seems. Although, I'm looking at it right now, and I will say that the fire doesn't look bad in the DVD or the Blu-ray even. I don't think any of this stuff looks in particular one way or the other. I think it's all comparable enough that I'm not bothered by it. Obviously the VHS is VHS, so what are you gonna do? But I gotta say, in a pinch, the DVD it's just gonna work. It works for you. Look at that. Look at the highlights on his head. Look at the differences here too. Again, the DVD is now aligning more with the Blu-ray. The VHS looks wildly blue. I love these shots of Michael like this too. Some of these are my favorite shots in the movie, like this, and these right here, like, look at that. Looks so menacing and like evil. He's not necessarily trying to give that off at this point, but it's just in that makeup, you know. It's, look at these things. Look at his eyes. I love that shot. It's wonderful. I wish this shot alone was associated with this movie a little bit more. All right, look at that. I think the coloring on the DVD is favorable here for me. I don't know. I like the red, but I think the 4K is more intentional here. And like looking at that, basically mimicking with the taxidermy back there, that's very fascinating. Absolutely terrifying. I think I'm favoring the DVD again, you know? Perfect example of the fire, although I will say, it must really depend a lot on how they filmed it too, because I'll say, look at that texture on the fire on the VHS. Usually, fire gets blown out a lot more than that. All the light spots are blown out so bad that it starts to lose its texture a lot of the time. And all of these look excellent, so they must have just done something really special when they actually filmed this fire, because damn. Let me know which version of The Lost Boys you think looked the best. I'm interested to hear about it. And if you like this video, be sure to check out this one and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.